That's not that.
What? You can pass it again, right? Until I...
That's not that.
What? You can pass it again, right? Until I...
That's not that.
What? You can pass it again, right? Until I...
That's not that.
What? You can pass it again, right? Until I...
That's not that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this evening's AY program. And before we proceed, let's bow our head for a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this Sabbath day. We thank you for all the blessings that we have received so far from this morning's children program and the midday service that told us about the challenges, to deal with the challenges facing in this COVID time. As we are about to begin our AY service, we ask your presence and your blessings. Bless the proceedings and help everything that is said and done may be done to your name's honor and glory. These mercies we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Okay, so we want to thank Cheryl Alexander for that lovely prayer. And at this time, we're going to have a very short but lively song service. All right, so I have my father here, he's off camera, and he will be playing for us. So we're going to start with a song that we all know, and I want you all to respond wherever you are, and we will hear you, okay? Daddy? Samuel, how do you feel? He feels alright. Samuel, how does he feel? He feels alright. Samuel, how do you feel? He feels alright. Oh, there's no condemnation, no condemnation, no condemnation in this soul. Cheryl, how do you feel?
I feel alright.
Oh, Cheryl, how do you feel?
I feel alright.
Oh, Cheryl, how do you feel?
I feel alright.
Oh, for there's no condemnation, no condemnation, no condemnation in the soul. All right, fellas, how do you feel? Let me hear you. Oh, fellas, how do you feel? Yeah, fellas, how do you feel? For there's no condemnation, no condemnation, no condemnation. Ladies, how do you feel?
We feel alright.
Oh, ladies, how do you feel?
We feel alright.
Oh, ladies, how do you feel?
We feel alright.
Oh, for there's no condemnation, no condemnation, no condemnation. Alas, the need. Alas, and did my Savior bleed, and did my sovereign die. Would he devote that sacred head from someone such as me? At the cross, at the cross, at the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my life, and now I am happy on last verse. But drops of grace can never repay the debt of love I owe. Dear Lord, I give myself away. It is all that I can do. At the cross, at the cross, at the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart rolled away. Oh, it was there by faith I received my sight, and now I cross once again. At the cross, at the cross, at the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart it rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am at the cross one more time. Oh, at the cross where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart is rolled away. Oh, it was there by faith I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day. And now I am happy all the day. And now I am happy all the day. Very short song service, but very lively. Thank you so much. So now we will have Jody doing our welcome. Ife, take it away.
Good evening and happy Sabbath to everyone that's here for EY.
As soon as she
How are
finished,
you all?
you
How was
can
your
follow me in my bedroom.
I'd just like to share this moment, some encouragement to everyone through these times. I hope that you are fine. I hope you stay happy all the while. Don't lose hope as things will change soon. Don't give up at home, work or school. Trust in God and things will be fine. Everything will fall into place right on time. I may not know how some of you are feeling right now, but as the poem says, don't give up and trust in God. Welcome to this evening's AY.
All right, thank you so much, Judy. And at this time, we will have the lovely Samuel Alexander do our aim, motto, and pledge. He wanted to be off camera so that you can hear his voice properly. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, Jesse, and others, let's do the AY aim. Repeat after me in small pieces. The Advent message.
The Advent message
To all the world.
to all the world
In my generation.
in my generation.
The AY motto. Jada and all others. Repeat after me in small pieces. The love of Christ.
The love of Christ
Compels me.
compels me.
Sammy and Matthew, and all the others, let's do the AY pledge in small pieces. Loving the Lord Jesus.
Loving the Lord Jesus.
I promise to take
I promise to take
an active part
an active part
in the youth ministry
in the youth ministry
of the Aruka SDA Church,
of the Aruka SDA Church,
doing all what I can
doing all what I can
to help others
to help others
and to finish the work
and to finish the work
of the gospel
of the gospel
in all the world.
in all the world. Oh, we didn't present arms.
So let's present.
So let's do it one more
order.
time. Go ahead. Present.
Present arms.
All right.
And say it with me now. Loving the Lord Jesus.
Loving the Lord Jesus.
I promise to take
an active part
in the youth ministry
of the
Aruka SDA Church. Doing what I can to help others and to finish the work
of
the gospel
in
in all the world. Order arms.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
sir.
it so much. All right, so we want to welcome everyone to AY this evening. We want to thank those who went before, Judy and Cheryl and Samuel Alexander. Thank you so much for the song service and for the prayer, and Judy for the welcome. So this evening we have an AY program, and it is entitled "How Are You Doing?" All right, now in proper, I guess, English, you're just supposed to say, "How are you doing?" But here in Trinidad, we say, "How are you doing?" Okay, and sometimes it's a loaded question. All right, so I know it may not seem like a very deep question, but really and truly it is. Okay, it really is. Because asking the wrong person how you doing could probably open a can of worms, or it can be comforting, according to who you are asking. But let's be real. There is no way we can truly answer that question in passing, because most times that is where we are asked. We are, "Hey, how you doing, boy?" Somebody passing and say, "I good, I day." Normal. What does I day really mean? That'll probably be another AY program, because we're not too sure what I day means. All right, but we'll look into it. For those who are tuning in all over the world, that is something that we say here in Trinidad. We answer the question, "How are you doing?" I day. I believe it is DEY. Not too sure how to spell it. Maybe someone can assist me with that. All right, so usually we answer the question like that. And really and truly, a lot of us use it as some form of coping mechanism where we, according to who ask it, we really don't want to tell them our business. So we are really withholding our business from whoever is asking it. We may find that maybe they are too fast and out of place for asking me that. You don't talk to me regularly. Why are you asking me how I'm going now? So usually we just answer that one answer and we get on moving. I day or I good. But if we are really truly to answer that question, it will take a lot more time, wouldn't it? I believe that you would agree. So even though we may not have the time to answer the question right there and then, I believe what it should do is spark something in our minds where we can answer that, even if it's to ourselves. How are you really doing? Now, that can mean how you're doing with your school, how you're doing with many things, but really and truly, how you're doing is such a loaded question that you should really do a lot of introspection into really asking, how is Cleon Alexander really doing? So I know it's something that we do, and someone asks you, and you say, "Yes, man, I good, I there, I fine. I fight any good fight," according to Roger. He always says that, fight any good fight, Or someone might say, "God is good." I ask you how you're doing, and God is good. Now, it doesn't mean that God is not good. Of course, God is good. But that is really not the answer. So today, we'll be asking a lot of people from church, okay? We'll be asking people that you may know, maybe you may not know, but we really want to find out, how are you doing? Because we are not in church, physically to ask that question. Because some of us genuinely ask it. Sister Dean asks that question and she waits. How are you doing? And she says right there, and she's waiting for you to answer that question. So we don't have Sister Dean because we are home, and we don't have the other people on the cell who usually welcomes us at church. We really want to ask people today and find out how they are doing, and maybe what they say could encourage you, and they will also giving advice. So we'll be asking students how they are going. We'll be asking teachers how they are going. We'll be asking some people who are studying away, some people who are working away. So it's a whole list of people, all right? And we have some lovely personalities. So we'll be going right into it, all right? So I'll just want to read a Proverbs here, all right? Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord, then it will succeed. So we just want to keep that in mind as we move forward. Proverbs 16:3.
Commit your work to the Lord, then it will succeed. So we want to welcome everyone. If you're now joining either on Zoom or on YouTube, we want to welcome you, and we'll be having our first person to tell us how they are doing now. We'll be talking to Destiny. Now, if y'all don't know Destiny, trust me, she's very bubbly. So today, let's listen to Destiny as she tells us how she's doing. We're having a nice conversation with her. So Ife, Destiny. All right, we are back, and we have the lovely Destiny John. All right, cue the applause. Whoop, 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 whoop. Now, Destiny is one of my favorite people. She probably don't even know that, but Destiny, yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Okay, so Destiny, we are asking everyone the simple question. It may seem simple, maybe not. How are you?
How am I? I am doing okay for now. On a scale of 1 to 10, see, this is Thursday. I'm at approximately like 7, coming closer to Friday. So, we're getting there. Yeah.
A 7.
Yes, a 7.
Right. Solid 7. Okay, that's good. That's not bad. So yesterday you were what? Maybe a 6.5?
No, yesterday I was on a 7 as well. Yesterday I was on a 7 as well. Yeah. 7.
All right. So we'll take that. We'll take the 7. All right. So Destiny, for those who don't know who you are, don't know why you could be in Aruka and don't know who Destiny is. But just in case, could you tell the AY how you started to come Aruka? Give us a little,
So I started to come Aruka SE when I was about probably 3, 4. Because my grandfather used to go there. He doesn't go anymore because he lives in Alabama. So he used to carry me with my uncles, and then my cousins was also in the church. So I just used to go with them, and my grandfather never used to go. And I just, my mommy, she wanted me to be a part of something, to be active. So I just continued going and going and going. And then after a while, I did stop. And then probably like when I was 7, I stopped. And then probably like when I was 8, I joined back with my cousin. And from there, I just never stopped. Yeah.
All right. Lovely. Yeah. So you are part of junior church and things like that?
Yes.
Tell us about that experience. How junior church?
Junior church was really, really nice. From the early days up to now, actually, it still is. So, well, not with Corona, but you know what I meant. So in the early days, Uncle Bill was always there. Uncle Bill was like, Uncle Bill. And the song service, I remember I still do. I love the song service in junior church. One of the best. And I love Brother Jared when he speaks, like when he gives his presentation, it's always catch me. So I love junior church. I love junior church. Still do.
All right. Yes, I always remember you always come and you'll say my reverse, and I'll be like, who's here with all this confidence?
Yes.
I don't know where you got it from. Thank God for your parents. All right, so I don't want to take you away from from your lunchtime, which is now. So I want to ask you, how school has been, right? Pre-COVID, meaning. So how was the experience? Because you're in what form now?
Form 3.
Form 3. All right. So tell us the abridged version of school from like Form 1 to 3. Right, that is pre-COVID, and then tell us how it has been post-COVID. Yeah, go ahead.
So from Form 1, I was really, really excited to start, high school, secondary school. I was really excited. Form 1 was actually some good times, it was it wasn't anything too difficult because it just came from Standard 5. It's basically Standard 5 week. So, it was a breeze, it was just a walk in the park, you could miss a few subjects. It wasn't anything big. Then Form 2 came. Form 2 was a bit more challenging because I moved up. But it was good. I mean, there were some times I was just like, and then sometimes I was like, yeah. So I mean, it was all a roller coaster. I mean, everything is in life. And then that was pre-COVID, and now with COVID, we started actually to do some online in Form 2 when we were in Form 2, but it never really got that far. It it never really got that far. And then now we have full-on online school. I was excited, I would say. At the beginning, I was really, really excited now to start on my brand new laptop, going on there. I was just so, so, so excited. And then, like, I probably like a week into it, because we had to, like, what we have to do, we have to wear our jerseys. So I will always put on my camera, my jersey, my hairstyle looking nice, you know. And then a week into it, I was like, all right, let's go back to how it was before. Just
Wow.
it's the work is overwhelming. I don't know if I can't speak for everybody from my school. I don't know if they feel we're just sitting down doing nothing, but they're giving a lot of work. So it is overwhelming, and you always have to be on your toes and always at it, because one little, oh, you're done. So, you know, it's a bit overwhelming, but with God, anything is possible, and I'm
There we go.
persevering through it. So, yeah.
There we go. Seem like you were just born to answer that question. Okay, so what I want you to do now, for
Mm-hmm.
those who are struggling, or maybe those who are having just as much fun, but I want to give some students some advice. Those who are going through this now, and it's probably really, really tough for them. Give
Mm-hmm.
them some tips that probably you use, so that you can overcome maybe the amount of work or different things that can make it a little more fun. So give some people some advice. Some people who are in maybe Form 3 or
Mm-hmm.
lower forms as well. Go ahead,
Okay.
give us some advice.
So for the form ones,
Mhm.
really and truly, just you know, just you don't have to take it so seriously, but it's schoolwork. You always have to take your education seriously. So just have fun while you're doing it. And for the upper forms who are doing CXC and Form 4s and stuff, Lord be with you, right? But just make sure you want to succeed, you want to have it, because once you have that drive, like, you know what, I want to do this, I want to do this, you will be at it. Even though it's a lot, remember what you're doing it for, right? Because you always have to remember what your goal is. So I know sometimes take a little breaks. Like for me on my lunchtime, whenever I haven't so much, I put on my headphones and I just listen to music and
There we
just
go. There
rock
we
back
go.
and just relax just for a little bit, and then get back at it. Or read a book if you want. Read your Bible, some Psalms. So just make sure to know what you're going after, and sometimes you just have to relax about it. Don't take it seriously, but don't take it seriously. We're gonna die. You know what I mean? Just like just yeah.
All right. Okay. So, whew, we don't have enough to contain Destiny's energy here. All right. We just don't have enough. All right. So, Destiny, I want to thank you so, so much for being part of this. I want to
Yes, man, no
encourage
problem.
you.
No
I want
problem.
to
Thank
encourage
you.
you. Continue to be the light that you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't give your parents too much trouble.
I'm
All
trying
right.
not to.
I beg you. Okay. And yeah, thank you so, so, so much. All right. Trust me, you
Okay.
have helped someone. All right. So, bye.
All right, we want to thank Destiny again. Destiny, we love you so much. Thank you for the people, especially Auntie Rosalind and Uncle Bill and all those people that usually have Junior Church so lively. You are seeing the product of what you have created. And we want to thank you so much. Thank you for the advice, Destiny. Now we have 6 more people to really interview, so we don't want to linger too much. So I want you all to listen closely to what they are saying, because I'll be asking some questions later and we have lovely prizes to be won. Okay, so we're going to move on quickly to our next person. We're going to ask them how they are doing. For those that just joined, we are asking a question, how are you doing? And we are actually listening to the answer. And hopefully they can help you in some way and encourage you in some way. So we're moving on next to Rona Edwards. Straight on to Rona.
All right. So by now, y'all should know that we're interviewing lovely people from church. And next we have the lovely Rona Edwards. Rona, Rona, Rona. All right. Lovely. So tell us, Rona, how are you affiliated, the abridged version, to Aruka Church? Tell us how.
Indeed.
How are you affiliated with
Um,
Aruka Church? At what
well,
age, Go ahead.
I was born there. My parents were born there. I think their parents. Yeah, so it goes back. It goes way back, right? So, I've always been in a repertoire. Before I was even a dream, I belong to a repertoire.
All right. Were you ever in like junior church and stuff? As if I can't remember seeing pictures.
Yes, I definitely was in junior church. I have a couple pictures from back then, none that I'm willing to share. Let me just put that out there.
We'll find it. We'll find it.
Yeah. But I was in junior church. Yep.
Okay.
I
All
came through the
right.
ranks.
Came to the rank. Okay. Well, were you ever an AY leader?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, you see, though, that is something I didn't know. I didn't
was
know that
an
at
AY
all.
leader, yes.
So that
Definitely.
is lovely.
I
That is
came through the
lovely.
ranks.
All
Travel
right.
school and AY.
All right. So could you remember what year you started AY? Like your first year?
But
Remember who the leader was? Like your head leader?
I think my head leader at the very start, the first time was, I think, Michael John. If I'm
Michael
not
John.
mistaken. Yes, he was the head
Okay.
leader
All right.
when I started. I believe so.
All right. Do you remember any program that you put on, a name, a theme? Come on,
I
come
think
on.
one of the programs I think that I remember quite a few, but
Okay.
one that was most memorable for me was when I did a program on sexually transmitted diseases.
Okay.
And I remember because I had cut up cards into all different colors.
Mhm.
And when people came into church, I gave them a card. And I had a few
Okay.
white cards, and some people got the white cards. And when we were singing, won't you greet somebody in Jesus' name? Everybody had to shake everybody's hand, except those with the white cards. They should not shake anybody's hand. And at the end, I told them, well, this era is going to be about sexually transmitted diseases. If you have a yellow card, you have gonorrhea. If you have a red card, you have AIDS. If you have, and then I told them, if you shook somebody's hand who had red, come to this side. If you by the time I was done, only those people who had white cards and basically who were virgins, because shaking hands meant you had sexual contact with this person. And
Wow.
only the persons who had the white cards were left on one side of the church, and everybody else was kind of piled up on the other side. I
Wow.
remember that very distinctly. Yeah, but yeah, I've had a lot of
All right. So that program is not copyrighted, right? Because
No, feel free,
I
feel free.
feel like I have something to bring back now, but wow. Okay. Wow, lovely. Lovely, lovely. You see? We are learning. We are learning. All right. So I really wanted to ask you the question because today we're talking about how are you doing? Because we are not in person in church to ask people, those questions.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
people ask it kind of generically, actually. How you doing?
Mhm.
I really, you really wait for a response. Okay, all right, bye, happy
Right.
Sabbath. So, Rona, the abridged version again. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay now.
Okay.
I'm doing much better now. I didn't start off the whole experience well. It was very scary. Um, I live with mommy. She falls into the at-risk category. Going out was always traumatic. Trying to remember to constantly sanitize and wear your mask. Not have contact with people. It was a lot. It was a lot. And it was a difficult time coping and, just everything it was too much. But I'm doing better now. I'm much better now. Yeah. I've kind of gotten into a routine and, I'm okay now.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear. I don't know how that could be.
Yeah.
All right. And I know you're a very fun person, you want to hug, you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is difficult as well.
Yeah. I know. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad, doing better now. We continue to pray for you. And I really wanted to talk to you, especially because of
Mhm.
your profession. You
Okay.
are a teacher.
Yes, I am.
I
Why are you
have
shaking your head?
no, I have so much respect for you all now, boys. I just need a moment there for it to sink into everyone who's listening. She's a teacher, guys. All right, let's cue the
Yes,
applause
I am a
again. All
teacher.
right.
Yay.
All right, so tell us. All right, so firstly, I want to know, like, you could probably speak about the challenges, in
Mhm.
terms of this whole COVID and virtual, and then you can probably talk about the good stuff or what you like about it. All right, so you can start off with, go ahead. Oh, you could probably
Um,
start by saying how long you've been teaching as well. Go ahead.
okay. Well, I have been teaching for um 24
No, no, no,
years.
no, 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 no. Wow. Okay. All right. Bless your
Um,
heart.
yes, I started teaching in 1996. Um,
Bless your heart. That was
so
5. Okay.
yeah, I wasn't above five by much. Anyway, I've been teaching for a while. The challenges involved when initially when we were shut down in March, um, it threw everyone for a loop because we were expecting to go back to school the next week, and then lo and behold, that Friday was like just the last day of school. So you had to find a way to continue with your tuition. Challenges are that one, you're not prepared to do this virtually. What we do requires face to face interaction with children. And of course, that is gone.
Mhm.
A lot of your preparation that you make for your classes are for face to face interaction. So you would have, you teach, you feed off the energy of the children. I'm a science teacher, so my equipment is there. I'm teaching them skills. All this is hands-on, and then all of a sudden, all of that is gone, and we're trying to do this virtually. It's almost impossible. It's not impossible. It's almost impossible. So for the initial stage between March and July, getting work to my boys, because I teach a boys' school, getting work to my boys was a little difficult. A lot of the boys, well, some of the boys did not have the necessary devices or even internet access to access classes, to be a part of the classes. And a lot of them felt discouraged as well. So you find that class attendance, started off pretty good, but then dwindled very rapidly. Uh, Coming back out in September, however, it was a little better. Schools had a chance over the March to July to kind of get an idea of, how they're going to approach things, what they're going to do. Um, so that coming back out in September, and even I must say that we expected to be back to face in September. We thought that, we would have been over the initial hurrah, so to speak, and we would be back into school in September. Of course, that did not happen. So we are going back into virtual learning. But we were a little bit more prepared.
Okay.
Um, However, it literally takes all of your time. I spend the vast majority of my day, and by that I could easily say 90% of my waking hours would be on my computer. If I am not actively teaching a class, I am preparing to teach a class.
Prepping. Yeah.
So it takes a lot because I
Alright.
have to take all of my work and put it in a form that I can present virtually. It's not easy. As a science teacher, I have to look for labs and things that the boys can either execute on their own with guidance or do virtually online. So it's a constant searching, preparing, looking, presenting, analyzing, reassessing. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. Um, if I was not in this interview, I would be on Word or on PowerPoint or searching for a lab
Oh,
or something. Like
wow.
my days end at 9. I literally tell myself you're stopping at 9 because I could go till midnight.
Yeah, you have
I
to
need to
tell.
stop. Yeah, I have to stop at a certain time. So it's a lot of work. And any teacher who is taking the time to teach your child or to present something for your child, know that they are doing it after having done a lot of work. It is not easy, and it's something that should be appreciated. I am not
We
saying that it's
appreciate
not
you.
something that should be done. I believe that my duty as a teacher is to ensure that my boys get as close to what they would have gotten face to face as possible. But it is a lot. It is a lot.
All right, positives, positives.
Um, positives, positives.
If any.
One, I don't have to rush. I teach in Port of Spain. I live in a remote. So
There we go.
I
There we
don't have
go.
to rush to beat the traffic in the morning to get down to Port Spain. There is that. That's one positive. Two, I am more casual. Yes, I get up and I bathe and I put on school clothes, but it's just for the top half to look presentable, right? I could be very comfortable,
Ah,
in the bottom half.
could
So
forget
that's
sometimes
also a
about
positive.
deodorant.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
understand
Nobody needs to
that.
know. You understand? Um, Positives as well. I am home so that when I want lunch, I could just go in the kitchen. That's my kitchen back there,
There we go. There we go.
right? So I could go in the kitchen and get lunch when I need lunch. I don't have to study, oh my gosh, do I have to buy lunch? Do I have to pack lunch? Whatever the case is. That's also a positive. Positive in terms of schoolwork is that I am now putting all of my work in soft copy and uploading it to the cloud so that I know that should anything happen, virtually all of my
It's
work
there.
is there. And I've already started, I had already started that, but I was
Okay.
doing it, piece by piece, little by little, because I didn't need to, because I'm
Yeah.
seeing them anyway face to face. But now, because I have to do it in order to teach them, all of my work is going up virtually. So that as well is a big positive for me.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, lovely, lovely. So all who are listening here, and Rona, send out a Facebook message now and again. Rona, we prayed for your lovely work. We
Please,
appreciate you. Yes, yes, yes. Send out
please.
a message, man. She needs it. All right, so we are basically at the end, but I just wanted before you leave to give some advice to some new teachers, people who may have started September last year and would never in the wildest dreams expected. So just give us some short advice for some new teachers and how they can really see through this period.
Okay. Well, I know exactly what you're speaking about because there's a young man in our department who started September of this year.
Wow.
Uh, so he came into virtual learning. He never experienced that before. Um, so pieces of advice. One, the first thing is the plan. Don't try to wing it. Even though I am an experienced teacher, I never wing my lessons. I always plan them. Because, and when I say plan, I mean I plan my lessons and then I plan contingencies. In case what I plan don't happen the way I plan it, right? I always plan for contingencies. And it is extra necessary now because we're doing this virtually and any number of technical issues can happen, right? So you need to plan. Two, don't try to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. Perfection is not attainable. Perfection is for God. You do the best that you can, and you always reevaluate and try to improve. So every year, even though I've been teaching for many years, I always look at my lessons and I reassess them and I change things. I pull things out, I put things in. I try to make my lessons relevant. So I taught Form 3 a couple of days ago, and on introducing measurements, I put up a COVID graph for them to analyze because it's now and it's current, right?
Applicable. Yeah.
Yeah. So you always assess yourself, always reassess, and try to improve. But you're not looking for perfection because nobody is perfect, right? Three, strike a balance. It's almost impossible now because your home and your work is in the same place. And very often we don't separate them. So like me, I found myself at the start going for hours after midnight. I'm still there on the computer because I felt so overwhelmed with the amount of work that I had to do. And I felt like I needed to do this and I needed to do that. No, pace yourself. If you were in school, you would have left school at 2:30, and the school would have remained until the next day, 7:30, right? So pace yourself. Remember that your health is most important and nobody can replace it. So even if you are a super teacher and you drop down with a stroke, God forbid, because you're overdoing it, the most that they will say is, we're so sorry, she was such a good teacher. And, but pace yourself, learn to stop and say, okay, this is it, this is where I'm stopping now. And the last bit of advice, well, not last, second to last, the second to last bit of advice is to enjoy it. I love teaching. I love interacting with my boys. They bring me a lot of joy, and and that is one of the things that I miss the most, seeing them. But I still try to interact with them. I ask them to put on their cameras so I can see them, and you can chat with enjoy your teaching experience. Look for the good things, look for the positive things, and enjoy it. And the last thing, pray. I, you know, when I am going through difficult periods, if I can't figure out something, and I go to bed at night and I pray. And when I'm lying down on my bed, and I say, Lord, I can't, whatever the case is, I'm feeling very tired, or I can't figure this out, or I really need to, or whatever the case is. So pray, because sometimes it is in prayer and it is in those quiet moments that you get the epiphany, you get the light bulb moment and go, yes, this is what I have to do, right? So, that is the advice that I have to give for new teachers. And let me give some advice to the students. This time is a little bit more difficult for you because it requires a lot of management on your part.
Yeah, students.
You don't have the structure, the rigid structure of your school day demanding that you do this at this time. The deans are not there running you down. The teacher is not supposed to come to class on time. All these things are not happening. You're at home with your computer, with all your distractions. So self-discipline and management is extremely important at this time because you can fall behind if you are not keeping pace, and you don't want to fall behind, right? So try your best as far as it is possible to stick to whatever your timetable is where the school is concerned and manage yourself and your work as best as you can.
All right. So, Rona, we want to thank you so much. You have been of great help. And once again, we appreciate you so much.
Thank
I
you
don't
very
understand
much.
how you teachers still find time to take care of yourselves, but we really want you, please continue to take care of yourself, okay?
I will
But we
try.
appreciate you so much. I feel so bad taking this time away from you right now, but
That is okay. Trust me, as soon as it is over, I'm just going to X out and go back to my document.
all right. Okay. So thank you once again. All right. Thank you so much, Rona. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right.
All right, so that was a mouthful, and we want to thank Rona so much for sharing with us. Now, so once again, for those who just joined, we are talking to all members of our church and those who are affiliated somehow. We are asking them the question how they are doing. All right, we are saying how you're doing, and we really want to listen and find out. So we spoke to a student, Destiny John, and we spoke to a teacher, Rona Edwards. Now we're going to speak to a business person. All right. Now this one is shorter. It's about 9 minutes, and we want to really talk to a lovely businesswoman and hear how she's doing, and also some tips from her as well. So right now, one time we're going straight into Tiffany Bramble.
All right, so we are back and we are here with a lovely, lovely, lovely guest. Her name is Tiffany Bramble. All right, cue the applause, Tiffany Bramble. Tiffany, so we're asking everyone the $1 million question. Let's get right to it. How are you?
I have had better days, but by God's grace, I am still here.
All right.
I am still here, despite all the ups and downs and the craziness that's going on. I'm still here. Thank God.
Bless God. All right, so we hope that your day gets better. And I could tell those who are listening how their day could get better. When you all will be listening to this, it will be Saturday. So the next time you may be out, maybe the Monday. But you all need to taste the best pillory in Trinidad and Tobago, possibly the Caribbean. All right, that would make you have a wonderful day. We'll talk about that a later day. All right, so Tiffany, so tell us, how are you affiliated with Aruka? Give us an abridged version of how you started, what age, if you was in junior church. Come on, tell us.
Well, I was born a Seventh-day Adventist.
All right.
From the moment I was born, I was a part of the Erica Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Okay.
There was a time when the Bonnier residents would have teach my sister Fletcher for a short while, and then we came back to Erica. So for a short while, I would have been going to Bonnier Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Walking distance.
And then started back coming to Erica. Yes, I was a part of junior church.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my fond memories were made there. Fond and fun memories with Uncle Bill and Sister Rosalind James and Brother Charles Canterbury, just to name a few.
Lovely. All right, so Aruka. So I always remember Tiffany for just coming up on a Saturday morning and just whatever was your favorite song, she would just slay it. You'll be like, wow.
For real?
Tiffany. Yeah. Whenever I think about Tiffany, I think about her just singing whatever song you like, even better. She would just, yes. So now you know what used to be in my mind when you go up and sing. All right. So don't worry, you'll be hearing her sometime in the future on AY. All right. Blessing us with that. Yes, by the grace of God, with that lovely voice. All right. So Tiffany, do you cook? Do you like to cook?
I don't like to cook. I'm being honest. I don't like to cook, but I do cook.
All right. You see, somehow when you talk to people who could real cook, they always tell you that. It's like, I don't really like to cook. It's so strange. It is so strange.
I think more than actually cooking. I do not like to cook.
Okay.
Yes.
So you wouldn't consider making pillory cooking?
No. You see, if I have to think about cooking, I think of so much preparation. Exactly. And pillory is an easy, breezy, beautiful product.
Okay, all right. So tell us about like in terms of like selling the pillory before COVID and then after COVID. So give us a contrast of how it has been pre and post.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
To be very honest, in terms of the sales of pillory, not much has changed. I would say, in fact, the sales have increased because
look at that.
You would notice that because of the economy and how money is kind of harder to come by now, people will find it easier to purchase something that is more affordable. So a $10 bag of pillory would be more affordable as opposed to a $40 box of lunch. And so I decided that I would not totally cut out cooking, but I would cook on orders because it would be more frugal to do so. and make more pylori on afternoons. I also make pies. So
There
it's
we
not just
go.
pylori and pies, and I added wings and fries and fish and fries to the menu on afternoons.
Wow, I didn't even know that. So, all right. So therefore, so you have some prep. So you have a lot of, I guess, more
That's
prep.
not as no, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's definitely not the same.
All right. Okay. All right. So, I mean, we are very pleased that, that sales have somewhat improved, So we see some people struggling and we see that some people are still thriving. So we thank God for that. We
Because of the way things happen, you as an individual have to assess your in terms of business, you have to assess your business and see what works. Because we were cooking food on a greater scale, but then I realized it wasn't making any sense. It was
Yeah,
you would be putting out more money to cook the food and making less profit.
all right. Understood. So very simply, I want to ask the last question. I just want to ask you, sorry, to give somebody who is thinking about starting a cooking business or probably any business, but since you deal with that, give them some tips because now we're in COVID period. So you give them some tips as to how they can achieve this or things that you have learned that you wish you knew earlier, so just give us some tips.
Well, the first thing I would say is that without God, nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to work.
All right.
Because even though I would have made an assessment to the business or whatever, I still had to pray about it.
All right.
So the first thing to do, if you want to open up a business, any business at all, you have to pray. You have to pray. You have to make wise decisions. You cannot, not all decisions would be wise, and that's okay because in business, you have to make mistakes to learn. But try to align yourself with persons who have the experience in business so that you could make the least mistakes possible. So that you could have yourself at a further advantage than myself, I would say. And you have to make wise investments as well. So if you are going into a field that is the area you're looking to open up, whatever, is a saturated field, like let's say where I am, I'm probably the only person or one out of two persons that make pylori in my area.
Okay.
So pylori will be in a high demand. There are persons who doing a lot of barbecue in the area, so I wouldn't do that. So in terms of business too, you have to, try to figure that out. And you also need a lot of support because if it were not for my mother,
there we go.
It's my family. They have been very supportive in a lot of ways. So yes, you need a lot of support. And what else? Align yourself with persons who in the same mind frame as you, or in the same thinking circle as you. So yes, in doing so as well, you'll have to pray and ask God to lead you to these persons. And yeah. More thing. I do. I don't always sell out.
Okay.
Not every day is the same, but even if I'm not sold out, I try to find someone in the area who's in need and I would give them. So charity is very important.
Wow. Okay.
It's not, you would not, you also have to be, it's a lot clear. You also have to be patient in business because things don't happen today for tomorrow. Or today for next week. You may have to wait 5, 10, 15 years before you start to see things happening. So patience and charity works. They go hand in hand. So even if you go to work a day and you don't make the money that you're looking for and you have stuff on your hands, it's okay. You could give it away. Don't throw away. Do not throw away. Wasting is not good.
Okay. All
So,
right.
yeah, that would be my
Well, Tiffany, want to thank you so much. You have been a great help. And guys, trust me, you'll need to check her out. All right. We'll see how we can promote it as well so that you can sell out nearly every day. All right. I want to thank you so much for being part of this.
You're welcome.
All right, Tiffany. We love you. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
All right, you want to thank Tiffany again. So for those, once again, if you are joining me, asking people how they are going. Now, trust me, Tiffany, the best Polori you will ever taste. All right. So we have a lot of more people to really interview. We have Delia, who is studying away. We have Ireland Costa, who is working away as well. We have another teacher, but with some primary school experience. And we have a musician. All right, but before we go to that, we want to have special music at this time. It's someone who writes his own music. He sent a lovely audio, and we really hope that this song blesses you. All right, so at this point in time, we'll have Jove Cooley. He said to say his name like that, Jove Cooley, with special music. And then we'll have Delia Lewis coming up right after that. So special music. All right, so we're having a little problem with it. So we will come back to the special music by Jove Cooley. We'll come back soon to that, so stay tuned. So at this time, we will move on to Delia. We'll move on to Delia, and I want to encourage you all to listen to the responses because I have some questions, and once you'll get the answers correctly, they're lovely prizes, lovely, lovely prizes. All right, so we want to thank those who are tuning in on YouTube and also on the Zoom. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. All right, so we move on to Delia right now, and then we'll try special music after. So Delia Lewis.
All right, welcome back. And we have another special guest. We have none other than Delia Lewis. Cue the applause, cue the applause. Yes. All right. So
Hi.
Delia just put on her glasses to look all nice for y'all. I'm joking. Okay, so Delia.
Take it
we're going
off.
straight. Yeah, I was joking. You could go ahead. So Delia, the program is called How Are You Doing? Okay. All right. So I am going to ask you the big question. How are you doing?
Well, how am I doing is very relative. How am I doing as in how have I been doing throughout this year and anticipate how I would be doing throughout the year. Not too bad compared to others, because persons I know would have lost some people in this time. Persons I know would have actually had friends who fell very ill. As you know, I was in England for some time for this whole pandemic, and so it hit certain people, my friends, some of my church friends, quite badly. So it was a very trying time, but I think it's going in a better direction now, and I feel confident for what's going to come out of this experience.
All right.
So I'm doing good-ish.
All right. Okay. Not bad. So I see you mentioned England. What did you go England for?
Oh, so I was in England completing my LPC program.
Woo! Okay, go ahead.
But I'm trying to get back now to Trinidad now, which is another stressful process in itself, which isn't going very well, but I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
All right, lovely. All right, so tell us, we want to talk about your affiliation to Aruka, right? I think I have an idea, but I think you're going to say things that I may not have known. So tell us, how did you start coming Aruka Church? At what age? Give us a behind the scenes, the abridged version. Go ahead, Aruka Church.
I think you know this entire story very well, but let's do a little revision history. So I have been engaged in Christian education all my life, right?
Okay.
My family originally is from Guayagriari,
Okay.
and because you have such selective and limited options when it comes to Christian Adventist schools for high school, especially, it was either Southern Academy or CUC.
CUC.
And so we had to leave Guayagriari and come up to where we now live, which is in Trinity. And we found it very hard as a family to go back and forth from where we live currently, which is Trinity, to go back to our home church, which is in Guayagriari, Newlands. And so the hunt was on to look for local church, so to speak. So I went to a lot of churches. I went to CUC, I went Good News, I went to Mount Door, and then I stumbled upon a place called Aruka Estate Church. Because of all of my friends from CC. They were like, come visit this church, come visit that church. So I used to be hopping a lot. I used to enjoy it too. I used to be hopping a lot. And then I stumbled upon people like your good self, Cleon,
All right,
others who others like you in our age group. And I said, these people ain't too bad. They are, they're very, very, very welcoming, very hospitable. I think I fell in love with the upstairs department, the children's department. And parents fell in love with the upstairs department coming down on 13th Sabbath, and that was it. We were settled in.
All right. So at what age was that? What age was that? Do you remember? I was secondary school.
Secondary school, so I turned 12. I was 12.
Right.
Then I started coming to Aruka officially and really only going to Aruka when I was 13.
All right. Look at that. Okay. So we're going right into it. We're talking about this whole, as you mentioned before, the whole COVID period and stuff. So I'm going to ask you simple to just explain how the experience was in school before COVID and then after COVID. All right, in terms of the experience over there in a foreign land, studying. So you can go ahead.
So before COVID, it was really lovely. First of all, as soon as I went to England, people told me about certain churches. So I went Plumstead, what's up, in London. And so I got some friends. And so going to church every weekend. So I used to stay at Stoke-on-Trent, which is North London, which is close. It's not very close, but close to Manchester area, but a little underneath. And so on a weekend, if I don't really have class every day. I used to have class 3 times a week. So on a weekend, I would go back down to London, go to Plumstead, where I have friends and family there. And then I would go back up to school. But when COVID happened, all that shut down. Everything was risky going on the train because they're very, they're very big on public transportation in England as well. So using the train to commute to and from stopped. They tried to minimize the spread so people couldn't go to different areas in London. So after COVID, everything kind of like stay where you are, hunker down, and really just until we have this thing under control. And that's how it stayed up to now. Having church in England is not recommended.
Okay. All right. So, we conquer that in terms of finding a church and different things like that. So I think that will segue nice into the next question and my final question, which is, tell us some advice you have for those who are studying abroad or who is thinking about studying abroad at this point in time. I know it may not be something on top of somebody's list right now because of the situation, but let's say that they applied before, because there are still people who are going to school because you are able to leave the country at least, right? So tell us some tips that you would give someone who is going to study abroad.
Okay,
An Adventist.
An Adventist.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Well, you don't have to necessarily be like me. I would definitely say, even though COVID is with us, God is with us as well. So you should
Amen.
not be scared to go out and actually go to school wherever you desire to go to school, by the way. It can be any part of the world, because God would be with you, and just keep that song in your heart and you shall be okay. The next thing I would like to say is be responsible. There are a lot of persons, especially in this climate, you have to be very responsible and careful. There's a lot of movements going on right now. I like to think of 2020 as actually being the clearest vision there is. There's a lot of racial awareness, identity awareness, health awareness, environmental awareness. All of these things are happening at the same time, and they need to be very much alert about it. So you should protect yourself and know that.
Yeah, video. Go ahead.
Okay. You should protect yourself and know that God would be with you, and do what you know is right.
All right. Very, very nice and to the point, Delia. I appreciate that. And we cannot wait to have you back in the land of the steel pan. We cannot wait. Yes, we have a lot of events that we would like you to be part of. So we need you to be here.
You'll be surprised. I have a little surprise for you guys.
All right. So Delia, once again, we want to thank you for being part of AY this evening. Thank you so much, and we wish you safe travels on your way back.
Hello, Aruka. Bye, Aruka.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
Keep up the good work. Bye.
All right, we're going straight into thanks again. Thank you again, Delia. We want to shout out those on YouTube. Savion Beckles. We have Don Claire, Sister Don Claire. Thank you so much. And thank you for your support. So we'll be going straight into special music at this time by Gervais Cooley. As we wait for that, I want to shout out those who are abroad as well. I'm seeing Hannah Alexander all the way from Canada here. Welcome. All those that are abroad, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to thank former riders as well. We have Pastor is on here as well. Thank you so much, Pastor, for joining with us. We have Nicole Graham and everyone else. We appreciate the support. So the special music should be ready now. If it is not, I'll just give it 5 seconds. If you let me know, and then we'll see if we can move on.
For the day of the Lord is at hand. It will come as destruction from the Almighty. Therefore all hands will be limp. Every man's heart will melt, and they will be afraid. Pangs and sorrow will take hold of them. They will be in pain as a woman in childbirth. They will be amazed at one another. Their faces will be like flames. Behold, the day of the Lord comes.
Freezing cold in the night dew. The moon is darkened by the clouds. The stars are hidden by the shadows. The wind is silenced by the sound. We are all together, just the 10 of us. Speaking of the good things we have done. Oh, we could feel it, it's close to midnight. Excited for the bridegroom to arrive. But stupid me, I was intoxicated. Foolish me brought my alcohol, thinking it would burn throughout the morning. I had to head home for my lamp of oil, but then there was a cry. The bridegroom cometh, why am I surprised? Why is fear now an onset? The best place that I could be would not be including me, 'cause I'm not ready. I'm not ready. It's too late. No, 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 yeah. I should have listened. Now I'm scrambling. I didn't pay attention to the signs. I thought their teachings were misleading. Oh yeah, I thought their words were simply lies. You see, the spirit that I consumed was not made of oil. The buzz only lasted for a while, for a while. There were 5 others, they were leaving. They trimmed their lamps and lit their lights. But foolish me, I was intoxicated. Wisdom was not my specialty. And now I do perish for lack of wisdom, for lack of wisdom. There surely is the last of me. Because there was a cry. The bridegroom cometh, why am I surprised? Why is fear now an onset? The best place that I could be would not be including me. 'Cause I'm not ready. I'm not ready. It's too late. It's too late. Whoa. It's too late.
We want to thank Gervais Culey for lending his lovely talent with us. He wrote that song and he sang it. All right, he composed it himself, and I believe he did the music as well. So God has given us a lot of talents, and once we share it with him, everything will be all right. I just want to say the text again, Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord, then it will succeed. So we started with Destiny. She's a student at this point in time. We know how hard it is for students. Then we talked to our teacher, Rona Edwards. We spoke to Tiffany, a businesswoman. And we spoke to Delia, someone who's studying away. So at this point in time, we will talk to a parent as well as someone with some primary school and secondary school experience. The lovely Suzanne Douglas, we will speak with her now, and then we will have our language segment. You need to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a very special language segment with Jada and Zion Thompson. All right, so we're going to go right into Suzanne Douglas at this point in time.
All right. So we have a wonderful guest with us. Her name is Suzanne Douglas. Cue the applause. Suzanne Douglas, Suzanne Douglas. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So we're asking everyone the $1 million question. How are you doing?
I am just wonderful. Loving this new experience, being at home and teaching at home, being online. I just love it.
All right. That is great. That is great. All right. So this is Aruka AY. So we want to ask you, how are you affiliated with Aruka Church? How did you start coming? So give us the abridged version. How did you start coming? Tell us.
Okay, I was introduced to Adventism by a friend when I was doing A-levels. And so she started a Bible study with me. She attended Mova Church. So I lived Aruka for many years. So what I started to do, I used to attend Mova Church with her, travel to go down the road. And then one day I decided the distance, I decided just to attend Aruka, and that was it. I started to get involved in a number of activities, especially the children, since I am in teaching. And I volunteered my services. I didn't wait for somebody to ask me to do something.
Bold, okay.
I just went to the back and did my part.
All right, so you have children?
Yes, I have young adults. My daughter is Keisha and my son is Ikeshi, otherwise known as Malcolm.
All right, and how did they enjoy junior church? Did they enjoy junior church?
Oh yes. I think they still remember the memory verses. They practice a lot of things that were taught because they were raised into the faith. Not like me, I was a Catholic before.
Okay.
But I was searching. But so I grew them up in the church. Well, grew them up in Christ, most importantly, living the life.
All right. Yes. All right. So why I wanted to really talk to you especially is because you are a teacher, all right? You are a teacher. I mean, just want to give you an applause for that. You are a teacher, and we know how hard it is. Yes, we know how hard it is. And I really wanted to find out. So you can talk about, firstly, I wanted to talk about before COVID, how you enjoyed teaching in terms of the whole experience. And you could probably give us a little background into how you started teaching. And then you can tell us how the experience is post-COVID. So you can go ahead.
Okay, I was in library services before. So I was in a school environment. My experience as a student, I wanted to do something different as an educator. Because as a student, I felt the teacher didn't reach my learning style. I am more what I would say kinesthetic. I like the arts, and it was just chalk and talk. And then in my days was the rod. So I learned in fear. And when I entered the teaching profession, I said I wanted to do something different. I wanted to make learning fun. It's not just about regurgitating information, but I wanted students to have that experience and to apply the learning to their life. So that's why I entered teaching. I saw I made a difference based on how students interacted with me and also results. So second question was, can you recap the second part?
Right. How did you enjoy teaching before, and then you can contrast it with now in terms of the difference? Yes.
Right. Teaching, as I said, I am always active in the classroom. So I love interacting with the students. You would have that hands-on approach. So I would use different methods in the classroom. But with COVID, I was not competent in the technology. So I learned by force in terms of getting on the Zoom. When COVID came around, I teach upper students, which is Form 4, Form 5, and Form 6. Okay. So I had Form 5s and Form 6 preparing for exams.
Wow.
Basically, they reached out to me. They said, Miss, what are we doing? Because exams is coming up.
So I learned by force how to use the technology. The students, they assisted me. And when I made mistakes, like in order to share the screen, they said, Miss, do this, do that. But what
So
I
they
did,
helped you.
they helped me. But I started first with the WhatsApp. I started with WhatsApp.
Okay.
So I had 4 where you can share. And then I said, well, let me go to the Zoom since I want to share the multiple choice questions. So I started from the time the COVID, we came into the COVID, I started. So it was like, for now, it's nothing new for me because I adapted very quickly because I had the students assisting me all the time. I teach boys and I just love teaching boys.
Wow. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So before we go, right, I want to ask one more question and then I'll ask you to give some advice to probably some new teachers, right? You always taught secondary school or you taught primary before?
No, I wasn't primary before. I was in primary for about 15 years.
Okay.
And then, but I was at different primary schools.
All right.
So
Which one would you say is more challenging? Teaching primary school or secondary school? Or do they have their equal challenge?
I think the primary school is more challenging because you have to teach about 5 or 6 different subjects. The secondary school for me, well, it depends on the teacher's perspective. The secondary school, you specialize one, and because I love teaching boys one, and I understand their learning styles. So I am able to cater to their learning style. So for me, the secondary school was much easier for me. You also have that non-contact hours where you can prepare work. You have enough time to prepare work, whereas with the primary, you had to go from one subject to another subject, etc. All right, and you can be able to relate to the students also at the secondary level. So it's how you value the students and how, to me, it's how you view the students. So for me, I view all of them as unique and special. They're different, and getting an understanding of the background of the students also. So that I would have right now we have form teacher period online, but when I was in the physical environment, I would have form teacher period, but I would call out students one at a time and kind of get to know their backgrounds, understand why is he reacting that way, and see what I can help out in whatever situation.
All right. So, so I want you to, if you could tap back into when you were teaching primary school and give some new primary school teachers some advice on how to really navigate through this COVID period. All right, so this is the last thing. So if you can give some advice to some primary school teachers, how they can navigate through this COVID period.
Okay, well, primary school teachers, I know it would be a little difficult for them doing different subjects, but the most important thing is to make the learning fun, make it real. So example, when we are in the physical environment, it may have been a little difficult to get all the resources together. So I saw Shariah's teacher, what she's doing, is it vertebrates or invertebrates? And the teacher had a video so that you can use the technology to the students' advantage. That is where you can reach them at. So get to understand the technology. You can start simple by using videos. You can start by doing real life things with them. Example, if they can prepare a dish, they can do something, maybe a fruit salad. And then from that same fruit salad, they can explain the nutritional values of the fruits, etc. You can, and the most important thing I can think is a pray about it. Pray that God will give you ideas, creative juices. Because sometimes you're walking down the road, you take, and at this time, especially primary school, where the parents, most of the parents are home with the students, where you try to develop that relationship with the parent, because sometimes you teach the parent in order for them to impart the knowledge to the students at the same time. So within this COVID, I am seeing a lot of closer ties with parents, and also we're building relationships. So pray about it, let God give you the ideas, and ideas will come. It will definitely come to make learning fun. I think the important thing is making learning fun and authentic, make it real. You are doing an area, bring a tile and show the students how you can measure a room. Let the students measure the room. You would go ahead and let them look at the toothpaste box and where the parents are going to come in now. So my 2 points for primary school teachers is that make learning fun and make it authentic, make it real. So the students will actually see what they are learning is in the real world.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Auntie Suzanne. You're a great help. We thank you so much here at AY, and we will be maybe talking to you sometime in the future again, so you can impart your knowledge. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have
All
a
right.
great
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you once again, Auntie Susan. All right, so I just want to shout out some people on the YouTube page. We have Beverly Diet, hello to you. Nicole Otley, hello to you. I am missing your food, Auntie Nicole. We have Donna Griffith. We have Brother Dennis Sylvester. I miss you as well. We have Wendy Boucher. Miss you in choir, Wendy. And all others who are on the YouTube, we want to say hi. And those that are on the Zoom, hi as well. So moving very quickly, all right? So we have 2 more people to interview, just 2 more. We have Roger, and then we have Ireland Costa. All right, Ireland will be ending off for us. So we'll go into Roger very quickly. He's about 5 minutes. And then we will have our language segment. Do not miss the language segment. Very, very important. Very, very important. So we'll go into Roger quickly.
Okay, so we are back and we have another lovely guest, and his name is Roger Castle. Yeah.
Hey.
That's what we talking about.
You ever see the one hand clap? I'm sorry.
We're supposed to be clapping for you, so don't clap for yourself. Anyway, okay, so we're going quickly, right? We're going quickly here. So let's get straight to the point. We're asking everybody this, so I'm going to ask you. Give me the abridged version. How are you doing?
We're not thriving, but we're surviving. So that has honestly been our mood for the whole 2020. But God is good. I feel like amidst the whole pandemic and a lot of things that we didn't plan for, we have a lot to give God thanks for, and I don't want to miss that. Within this whole ordeal, I notice that I still have a lot to give God thanks for, and that is most important, quintessential.
Good word there, sir. Quintessential. All right. I appreciate that. Lovely. So tell us, for those who don't know, tell us once again the abridged version, how you started to come to Ruka Church.
Well, I think like for many years I was a Presbyterian. No, I was actually born I was actually born and raised in the SDA church. My parents attend the Ruka SDA, and that has been my church from 0 to 26.
Oh, from 0. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, okay. So junior church and stuff, you attended all of that.
Yeah. Learn to behave in oh God, that's the classics. Come on.
Right. Okay, lovely. So you're born and bred. All right. So, could you explain or tell us when did you want or begin to pick up a guitar?
Oh, interesting. So, quick backstory. Mommy used to send us for piano lessons now, Roberta and I, and we tried many different piano lessons. We tried piano at 3 different places, and we had a book that we had to follow from, and I never used to follow the book. I used to like go on YouTube and learn to play things for myself and come back and show the teacher what I learned to play and never learn what to play in the book. And we was like, you know what? piano is not for you. And I ended up picking up guitar at a friend, and he told me he would lend me his guitar, and if I learned to play a song in a week, he would let me keep it. And I did learn to play a song in a week. And I kept his guitar. Yeah. And I kept his guitar, and I just kept practicing. And yeah, that's how I picked up guitar.
Very impressive. Okay, all right. So you're bossy from small with that piano lessons. Okay, understood. All right. So tell me, before COVID, how would performing usually go? Because I remember I think you were in a band and stuff, right? So
yeah.
Right, for a short while. So explain before COVID, and then talk about after COVID, how in terms of like playing guitar and stuff.
Pre-COVID was vibes, you know. Like usually, if a church don't have music, you could just go. You could just go, and many
open
times,
arms, right?
yes, open arms. They just beg you to come back. They be like, "Hey, we not no music. Hey, you're free on a Wednesday night too." And it was just, you know, you could go anywhere, and I really enjoyed that because it gave you a lot of options and a chance to minister at different churches. It was,
and also that you can meet new people and stuff, right?
Exactly, and learn new things. So it was a lot easier to just pick up and go wherever. Now post-COVID is a lot of adapting. You have to adapt to the new model, the Zoom, the recordings. It's not as exciting because it's not the whole congregation, is just the cameraman and you. I mean, I did some recordings for Impact, and it was something. a model that you just need to get used to, you know. Just sitting there and running through like all the songs one time, and nobody's there. It's just three people, you know, you, the singer, and the cameraman, and like I said, it's just a lot of adapting. You have to get with the times, I guess, because it must go on, you know. It must go on, and by utilizing the technology we have available, we would still be able to at least give some kind of semblance to worship session. I mean, once you have the music, you know, people at home can have the experience, because not everybody could, you know, pick up their own instrument, and it gives a semblance of some kind of service, and it helps a lot of people, you know. So it's just adapting to the new model. It takes a while, but for what it does, it's a fair compromise.
All right. So last question, very, very simple. Tell me what advice you would give, I guess, someone who wants to now like pick up an instrument in this time. Could you give some advice to them? Because I guess in terms of like before, they would probably be able to go probably guitar lessons, but now, you know, they may be home a lot more, you know, especially how that is something hands-on. So could you give any sort of advice to anyone who is probably thinking about picking up a guitar, or, you know, something?
Don't be afraid to start. The hardest part is doubting yourself, even at any age. You know, you might think that, woof, I'm too old to pick up an instrument. I think that is not true. just start. And the key word, I mean, you hear it a lot, but the only way you would ever get better is practice. You need to put in a lot of practice. And if you have the time, like now, I mean, you might be able to go out. And even though a lot of people have different styles of learning, there are a myriad of things you could teach yourself. and you start small and work your way up. I feel like anybody could start, anybody could play music. God created us with a musical mind. That is Jennifer Lamountain. And yeah, don't be intimidated by barriers you set in your own head. If you feel like you want to pick up this instrument, just try. Just try and start. That is the really most important thing.
All right, not bad at all. All right, so is there anything, any last parting words you want to tell the Aruka brethren for AY? Anything you want to leave with us?
I think I think that's it. I think that's it. That's like a good note to end on.
I see where you did that. Good note to end on.
You catch it. I was trying it, but I didn't know if you'd catch it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, Roger. We appreciate it. And we look forward to talking some other time. Okay?
Some other time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much, Roger. And we'll be going straight into our language segment now. I told you, don't miss it. Language segment with Jada and Zion Thompson.
Hola, mano, ¿qué pasa contigo? Hace mucho tiempo que no te hablo. ¿Cómo te va?
Mana, las cosas son muy difíciles. Los profesores no son nada racionales. La escuela es una carga excesiva y no puedo ni siquiera relajarme.
Yo entiendo y me di cuenta que a veces tienes que tomarte un descanso, olvidarte de todo y dar un paseo por afuera y observar la obra de Dios, es decir, la naturaleza.
Nunca se me ocurrió la idea de hacer eso. Me paso todo el día en mi cuarto.
Tal vez es algo que puedes probar en la semana que viene.
Muchas gracias. Me aprecio.
No hay problema, estoy aquí por si necesitas hablar con alguien. Pero recuerda que al final Dios está en control. Solo necesitas que orar. No te rindas y no pierdas la fe. Hasta pronto, mano.
Chao.
Feliz sábado a todos. Happy Sabbath, everyone. La frase de hoy es Dios está en control. Today's phrase is God is in control. I will say it at a normal pace at first, and then I will say it slowly. Dios está en control. 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 This phrase means God is in control.
Thank you so much. I was about to say thank you so much in Spanish. Didn't really come in my mind quickly enough, so I chose not to do that. I want to thank some more people on the YouTube page. Alicia Jug Mohan Singh, she sounds like an interesting person. And Leah Diet. Happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath. And all those on the YouTube and on Zoom as well who stayed with us. We appreciate it. I was going to ask someone on Zoom to say it, but I wouldn't put you in that position. All right. Just try one more time. Dios está en control. So I did their control. Very good. Thank you so much, Jada, Douglas, and Zion Thompson. That's the future of Aruka Church. So we are here with our last person now. Last person. This one's a little longer, but it's very, very interesting. So after this, I will just wrap up and wish you all a lovely evening
All right, we'll be finishing by 6 because sun is setting very early these days, which means Christmas is coming. So we'll go straight into our last person, Ireland Costa. Until then, sorry, before that, I just wanted to read the text one more time. Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord, then it will succeed. So you have to figure out what our work is, right? Figure that out, and it must succeed. All right, so we'll go on to Ireland Costa now, and then I will see you back here to just wrap it up with you all. Ireland Costa.
Good day, everyone. By now, you all should know what the program is about. So today we'll be talking with none other than Mr. Ireland Costa. Cue the applause. All right, Mr. Ireland Costa. So tell me, Mr. Ireland Costa, how are you affiliated with Aruka Church?
Well, good day, everybody. I basically have been affiliated with Aruka Church since the age of, was it 9 or 10? Okay. I remember I went to Maracas SDA and I was classmates with like Nikhil, Fallon, Joseph, and they went to Aruka and they always talk about junior church. Junior church was a very big deal back then. It still is, which is amazing, you know. So I was always intrigued by junior church because I used to go to Arima Church and they didn't really have a junior church. We just used to fall asleep in big church, you know. So when I went to junior church, one time, I don't think I ever stopped going. So it was from that time, from like the age of 10.
That's a very long time, you know. That's a very long time.
It's not that long. Come on.
Oh, all right, man. Okay, lovely. So we already talked about how you're doing. So I'm gonna ask you the question: how are you doing?
I am great. I am blessed. I am happy in my walk with Jesus. Probably the happiest I've been since the Christian journey started, to be honest.
Wow.
It's been really great.
Wow.
So I've been good. You know, you would think that being away from home, you would miss that comfort zone, you would miss that safe haven, but actually by venturing out, it causes you to grow more into your own personal walk with God. So it's not a crew thing or it's not a group thing, it's a personal you and God kind of thing. So I find that I've been really enjoying that relationship a lot, you know?
All right. Wow. Didn't expect that. That is very good. That's very good. That is very good. So, all right. So while in Aruka, so you say you started at junior church, you know, most of us started there.
Yeah.
Tell me how you joined AY and at what age, if you could remember.
Well, I started in AY, I think it was about 15 or 16.
Okay.
And I started as a AY secretary, right? Back then, secretary's report was a big deal. So usually the secretary's report would pretty much comprise what happened the week before, but there would always be somebody to give an innovative spin on what exactly happened. So, you know, sometimes they might do a skit, sometimes they might do a pantomime, no, not a pantomime, but like a little monologue or something.
Yeah.
So I remember that I used to find very innovative ways to do my secretary's report. And I particularly remember one where they had AY in the morning and divine hour in the afternoon.
Right.
And I was doing the secretary's report that time, and I basically impersonated Patrick Manning for the whole thing. So I think the church got a kick out of that because, ladies and gentlemen, you know, like that kind of thing. I was basically in my elements because I am very silly at heart. You know? So I had a lot of fun with that, and I think from being an AY secretary, when Andre took over the AY leadership, I think that was around 2005, 2006. He told me that I should upgrade to be a leader. I told him that, boy, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And he's like, yeah, man, you're ready. Let's run in. We all of us here to guide you and support
That's
you.
Andre Thomas, right?
Yeah, Andre Thomas. And it was, yeah, when Andre was leader, that's when I really stepped into the AY leader position. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Great, man. Great. The late, great Patrick Manning. I remember that.
Yes. Yes.
Can't forget it. So you started AY at that age. So tell me, so you say, all right, so you already told me your favorite memory from being a secretary. So tell me your favorite memory being an AY leader.
Wow. I must say, I think my favorite memory, your father would remember this program, he always reminds me about it, was the boxing match that I did. You were a part of that, remember? You were one of the boxers.
Patrick, I was the main one, or no?
You was the main boxer.
Right.
So I think that when we turned the church into a boxing ring,
that was crazy.
I think that was memorable for me. That was epic for me because I've never seen done before, and I felt like I really stepped out of the box in terms of AY programs.
Who had the program the following week? That was why. Why you do them that? Anyway, go ahead.
And you remember, I think for promoting the AY program, because they would usually advertise in the morning, I printed tickets to the boxing fight. So I given everybody a ticket and say, oh, don't forget the fight later and the fight later. You know, like, I think that whole production was very memorable. I would never that production. That was good.
And in terms of like planning for that, tell me what the thought process, how long it started. Give me some feedback into how.
Wow. Well, usually
if you could remember.
I think that program was April 12th.
Right.
Wow, I remember the date.
Wow.
It was April 12th, I think 2005, 2006, somewhere there. We got the rota from January, so I know in April I have a program. Well, January I had a program and April I had a program.
Okay.
So after the January program,
I just want to pause for 1 second. That's to show you how much leaders we had. Your program January and the next one in April.
Yeah. I had like about 4 or 5 programs for the whole year.
That's just to show you. All right, continue.
Yeah. So after the program in January, remember, I don't know if you remember, I did something called What's Causing That? It was a chemistry experiment.
Vaguely.
Yeah, so after that, I thought, all right, I need to come good because that program was pretty good. I need to come better than that, right? Need to top the last program. It was always my goal to top the last program, right? And I remember reading Ephesians, and they said, well, you put on the whole armor of God to stand against the wiles of the devil. That's Ephesians 6.
Right.
And then, so because we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, and usually I would read random stuff like of that nature in my call it devotion or reflection or whatever.
Right.
It never used to be a formal devotion at that age. It would just be, hey, you think of something and then you go look it up kind of thing. And I wanted to do something that reflects that you always have. The Christian journey is always about two powers battling. It's always your carnal nature and your spiritual nature. So I wanted to make that as physical or as literal as possible. So I remember the 2 boxers, one was carnal man and one was spiritual man. And carnal man came in the form of different vices.
Yeah.
And basically you were the referee in your life. So you are the person deciding who you will let win. And then you have the whole training process behind the boxing. So it was like, my mindset was always to make the Christian experience as real or as literal to me, because I was never a fan of that, the high theoretical, theological Christianity if it didn't relate to me on a personal level.
Directly, yeah.
And that was the thing with, I felt like AY, young people not into the high tech sermons. You might hear a good sermon and feel, all right, that was a good sermon, but then you just go and live your life anyhow. You know, like you have to bring it to a point where it's real to you. So
Right.
I always used to try to make it as literal as possible, and I think that was my mindset. And I just kept building on that concept that is a fight, is a battle. You have different vices. You have to train the spiritual man a certain way. And you know, it was just weeks upon weeks, just kind of conceptualize it. Okay, if it's a fight, then it should be a boxing match. All right, if it's a boxing match, we need to get a ring. If it's a ring, then we need to get fighters. You know, that kind of thing. So it just kept going and going and going like that.
So it had no limit, really and truly.
No limit. No limit.
And would you say that stemmed from the leader as well? Like he always told you all to always go outside the box? Or
no, well, Andre, we don't have to say much about Andre. You know, Andre is always on a higher level when it comes to thinking in terms of his analogies, the points that he's make. Andre been like that for as long as I know him. You know what I mean? So Andre was always inspirational to challenge you to think of a way to make that point come home to everybody. You know, so nice. I think the fact that he was always the guy, if he's the leader and he's always the guy that does that, like brings it home, and his analogy is always spot on, it kind of inspiring to, is a person I would look up to and say, I want that point to hit home, you know? So he was very supportive. I think him and Wade, as well as I think Kenji.
Right.
They played a part in terms of commenting on the fight and stuff. And yeah, all of them had everybody supported each other. So we were really one unit in terms of the exec. So when one person have a program, it don't necessarily mean that there's one person doing the program and everybody else just step aside. It's like everybody kind of like, how can I help? How can we make this production as effective as possible, you know?
Great. All right, so we have other people to really interview, you know, for the program, because you said off air that you tend to talk a lot.
yeah, I tend to.
No, but trust me, I can listen the whole day. Trust me, because there are a lot of memories that we can continue, you know.
Yeah.
And we may actually make this a part, like a segment of AY, you know, probably at some point in time. So, so this will be the last time we'll be talking about these things. Definitely.
Sure.
All right.
No,
so I wanted, before we leave, I wanted you to give, you said that this year was really, really good for you so far, especially in your spiritual journey. All right. Yeah. But for a lot of people, especially some of our AY leaders, it's been a challenging situation. So we have a lot of new leaders, first time ever. And then we have other leaders that probably only 1 year those in AY. And this year we actually only have 9 leaders. Could you believe that?
9 leaders in total?
9 in total.
Wow.
9 leaders. Yeah. So this year was rough before COVID. Pre-COVID, it was rough, right?
Yeah.
And so first time AY leader, myself, right? The head, first time head, and we have 5
you are the head leader now.
I am.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, sir. A little late, but I appreciate it.
You're well competent enough for that job, man.
Blessings. So yes, so we have 5 new leaders and we have 4 leaders, and 2 you could say 3 who were there more than 3 years, you could say, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it has been a little challenging. So I want you to give your advice. So if you were an AY leader for this year, tell me what probably changes you would have made, and also give some advice to those that are new.
Well, I mean, you have to see the position of AY leader not as a post that you hold in church, but is more of a life that you're called to lead, like it's a lifestyle thing, you know? So every time you go about your regular day-to-day experiences in life, you must always think, all right, what's the lesson here? Or how could I make an AY program of this? What are the general themes that I am bombarded with on a day-to-day basis that I know people just like me are struggling with. So your brain always have to be going. It's not just about you only think about what your program is going to be like when it's time to do your program. If you have a program next week, you don't start thinking about it this week. You start thinking about it 2-3 weeks before, and you basically, you go to other more experienced people once they're available and let them help you develop it. You may not have the wherewithal to develop the concept, but tell them what you're thinking, and they might give you tips and give you things to think about so that your whole concept could come together in your mind. So don't think of it as, boy, I have this post where I'm an AY leader. It's like, no, an AY leader is who I am. Even after you stop being an AY leader, you will still be a leader of youth or a leader of your group. You know what I mean? So just think of it like that. And additionally, you have to kind of want the personal journey with God. So you see the clique Christianity, where everybody is in a clique and everybody following the rules because everybody else doing it, and you see that kind of clique Christianity that don't really take you far in terms of your own personal relationship. Everybody has their own unique relationship with God. So you supposed to push the envelope and say, God, what you want from me specifically? What is my role? What kind of programs or what kind of topics you want me personally to give to your young people? Because young people want people that they could relate to, people that don't put on a show and pretend like they are great, high and mighty Christians. They want people that they could relate to, people that struggling with the same things they struggle with, people that not afraid to highlight issues that they may not want to speak about. You know what I mean? So just be relatable, be relevant, and always be thinking. That would be my main advice if I was a AOL leader.
All right, lovely. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Just tell me a name of a program that you would have probably put on for this year. Just give me a name. I want to hear about no box. Just a name.
What name?
Name and probably the overriding theme.
All right. So, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I would say,
take your time.
Face screen and mask wearing, something like that. Mask wearing and mask and face shield, something like that. Now, I know the typical topics would be social distancing.
Right.
It would be, like, I don't know, for some reason, face shield and mask, it is like, as Christians, we all wear a mask and we all wear a face shield. So people don't really always see the true us. So I feel like sometimes it's time to, like, what's behind the mask? What's behind the face shield? Because I'd probably work with that concept and say, all right, it's time to stop pretending. It's time to be more practical and real with your experience, that kind of thing.
All right. So I want to thank you again all the way in Jamaica, Mr. Christopher. We appreciate it so much, and we'll be talking again sometime soon, man. All right.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Yes, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
All right, cool.
Lovely. That was Dr. Ireland Costa. I want to thank him once again and thank all those that was a part of the AY this evening. So before we leave, I really want us to think about what we spoke about today. So we spoke to a child who is going through classes right now. We spoke to two teachers, one with some primary school experience and a secondary school teacher. We spoke to someone who's studying away. We spoke to someone who's working away, Ireland Costa. We spoke to a musician, and we also spoke to a businesswoman. Okay. Now, why did we do all of this? Now, usually when we are in church, we are there for maybe, before COVID, we were there, let's say 3 hours. And especially in Aruka, after church, you'll just see a congregation of people outside by the foyer. And we'll be talking and really interacting with each other. People go to their friends. Sometimes the pastor will be outside shaking hands with people. And That is something that we are missing right now. And I really wanted us to revisit that. And this is just the spark to encourage everyone to reach out. Start with distant family first and reach out to church members. We have a group now where you can find the numbers of people that you didn't know. Call, send a message, say, how are you doing? How is life? Sometimes people just need to hear from someone because we don't know who is going through quarantine. We don't know what kind of issues people are dealing with. And sometimes you just need a, how you doing, boy? What can I do for you? Anything I can help you with? Or it could just be to listen. Some people just need to really offload. Sometimes you may ask that question and realize that the person just offloading. And we really need to be our brother's keeper. So I wanted us to really dive into how asking someone how they're doing and listening. So that's why some of these were a little long. I hope you all stayed with it. I hope it was interesting enough. But we really wanted to find out how people are doing at this time and genuinely listen to them. We want to shout out Kelsha Graham and entire Graham family. She's on YouTube as well. And the lovely Ashley Burrows. I want to thank you so much for being a part of our YouTube family and those that are on the Zoom as well. I want to leave this thought with you all. Who you are essentially determines how you are doing. So when you think about how you're doing, it's really who you are. So I'll give you a quick example. Now people here know my father, I guess, for being this public person. But this doesn't just come just like that. When he wakes up in the morning, he actually thinks about all the bad things that may happen and how you may react to it. Now, not every bad thing, but it's a mindset. You need to realize that things happen. God knows exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know. So if we believe in a God that knows tomorrow, then we should really have nothing to fear. Now, we are humans, so obviously we are emotional beings. But the way we react to things would be different from the average person because we trust in Jesus Christ. Amen? So I want us to purpose when we wake up in the morning, especially things like road rage. Christians shouldn't be having anything like road rage. Because if somebody gives you a bad drive, you say, bless God. We don't know that person just lost a mother, that person just lost a father, and that is their way of reacting to it, or they're heading somewhere. We don't know. We have no idea the background of certain people. So we need not to react the way that normal people react. We are called to be different. Different we are going to be. So who you are essentially determines how you are doing. So as I leave you this evening, I ask you, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, we have church next week. Sabbath, we have the children starting at 9. And then we have live church once again. You all can stay home, but we have people who will be in church live at 10 a.m. And we'll be having AY as well next week. So, and Bible study, don't forget Bible study next week as well, right after church. So we want to thank you so much for joining us. And please, please come again. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Be safe.